TIAA Bank Field, a home opener, well, maybe to forget, but we must go forward. The Jags lost there yesterday on a hot day in Jacksonville to the Kansas City Chiefs, Brent.
It's the newest show in Jacksonville, one of the coolest places in Jacksonville. We're watching football and talking football with Jaguars players live at Top Golf tonight.
This is the Action Sports Jags Report Live, sponsored by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Here's a look inside Top Golf, and you are more than welcome to join us every Monday night for this brand new show, Jags Report Live. Chris Conley joins us live on the show, the Jaguars wide receiver, coming up in just a little bit, live on CBS 47. Brent Martineau along with Dan Hicken, and obviously a lot to digest, although 24 hours ago it wasn't so pretty in Jacksonville, right? Disaster of an opener, really, if you say it clearly.
Well, and the big thought tonight is one thing and one thing only, and that's the loss of Nick Foles. Think about this, Brent. They signed Nick Foles back in March. We were talking about Nick Foles last November and December, looking forward to bringing this guy to Jacksonville and seeing what he could do, finally giving us some legitimacy, I think, at the quarterback spot, a true leader, if you will. And in the end, Nick Foles gets injured. He goes down with an injury, and now he's lost at least until mid-November.
You feel bad for Foles because he put in a lot of investment in the locker room and being a leader. He got the captain honor a week ago, and then he goes down 10 plays into his football season. So now the Jaguars have to tread some water until Foles comes back. He's on IR. He could return in week number 11 against the Indianapolis Colts. Doug Marrone knows that too. Gardner Minshew's the guy they go to. Here's Marrone on Monday about Minshew.
Can he keep playing at that high level? And you would say, if you guys remember what I said before, he's one of the few guys that I've been around that you can go from the classroom and really just take it right out onto the field.
All right, so the Jaguars had to make a roster move today, and they did. They acquired Josh Dobbs to be the backup for Gardner Minshew. They had to give up a fifth-rounder. They have 2 fifth-round picks, and they gave up one of them to get Joshua Dobbs. He's been up in Pittsburgh, former University of Tennessee product. A big kid with a lot of potential. We shall see what happens with him going forward, but he's being brought in here to back up Gardner Minshew.
2 guys that will really pass the SAT test in that quarterback room. They're 2 smart guys. Let's take a look at our poll question coming up on actionnewsjax.com/vote. You can vote. What can Gardner Minshew do now? He's the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars through week number 10. How many wins do you think the Jaguars get over the next 9 weeks? They already are 0-1.
Chris Conley, wide receiver, Georgia.
What a grab! A one-handed catch! Chris Conley!
I see an opportunity to come and contribute with the team.
Pulled in by Conley for the touchdown!
Let's make it happen. Let's make this run.
Well, there he is, Chris Conley, one of the newest Jacksonville Jaguars this offseason. And here he is on Jags Report Live on CBS 47 at Top Golf. Welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
6 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown. Pretty good day for you. I know we'll talk about the rest of it, but a good start to your Jaguars career.
Good start to the career. We have a lot of things that we have to fix, a lot of things that we have to clean up, but that's the beauty of football. It's a long season and a lot to go.
Wide receivers yesterday played. A lot of question about them, let's be honest, going into the season. But Dede got in the end zone as well. I mean, all the receivers. And Chark, what a performance by him, 146 receiving yards. I know you're a confident bunch. You have to be to play at the professional level. But, man, if I told you guys you're going to have over 300 yards receiving, you would have taken that, right?
I definitely would have taken it. But, I believe in those guys. We have a lot of talent in that room. Very young, but a lot of talent. And the thing that makes me believe that this receiving group can be great is those guys come into work every day. And they really learn from all their mistakes. And as long as you progress in this league, the sky's the limit.
How's your golf game, first of all? Because we might have to look at this a little bit later.
My golf game is absolutely terrible. Top Golf is probably the only place you'll see me swinging a golf club. But it needs lots of work.
We'll get you better on Monday nights here on CBS 47 Jags Report Live because Chris will join us a bunch throughout the course of the season. And, you talk about your day. What about the Monday? Outside world, the sky has fallen. You're 0-1. Defense didn't play well. You give up 40 to Kansas City. What was it like in the film room today for you guys?
The big thing about a Monday after a loss, especially beginning of the season, is your approach to it, your mindset. You can come in, you can panic, or you can come in, you can take the good with the bad, take everything with a grain of salt, and realize that there's a lot of work that needs to go on between now and your next game. This Monday we came in, we looked at the film, we saw all the mistakes, we saw the penalties. We saw the mental errors, the times where we got out of our game and we made mistakes where we gave them field position, we gave them second opportunities. And we also saw the good things. We saw the ability to move the ball with our second-string quarterback. We saw the ability of our defense to snap back and to make some plays. But we know all the things that we have to do and that we have to work at. And we're not really kidding ourselves here. We know there's a lot of work that has to be done for this team to get those wins.
We got a lot to talk about with Chris tonight, but we also got to talk about the guy who took Nick Foles' place. You know, in football, next man up, right? That's what happened yesterday. Gardner Minshew stepped in, and, well, he was terrific. I mean, who saw that? You may have saw that coming, but none of the fans did. What a performance by him.
I think Gardner was really prepared for that opportunity. Yeah. You know, we kind of threw him in the fire in the preseason. Came to him the day before the game and said, hey, the starters aren't playing. You got this game. And Gardner really, he didn't blink. He went in there. He was fearless. He took some shots and made some mistakes, but he came in every single week during training camp to get better and to learn from Nick Foles and really get a grasp of this offense to the point where he could go out there and operate. But in that huddle, there were a lot of guys coming around him. You had Brandon Linder coming over and talking to him. The receivers came over, Leonard Fournette coming over to talk to him during the game to make sure that Gardner was really just comfortable and able to execute, and that was the result.
Obviously, Nick Foles goes down. You know Nick really well from your days in Kansas City. I'm not sure you would be here without Nick Foles, and maybe you can answer that part of the question. But how much does this hurt your football team, your locker room, and you personally because you know him so well?
It hurts a lot. You know, Nick he's a competitor. What hurt me was really my heart hurt for him yesterday, knowing how much work he's really put in for this city and how much work he's put in for this team. And, you know, things change so fast and you have to adjust in the National Football League. But really, this is going to be a challenge for us, and it's going to take a young team. You know, it's going to take a lot for us to come together and realize what needs to be done to win games. It's hard to win games. It's a game of inches. Any mistake is a mistake that can end a game for you, and now you just lost a veteran guy. So we really have to come together, come around a young quarterback, and we got to eliminate mistakes so that we can win these games.
Well, it's only one game, so we got a long way to go. And Stuart Weber was with us yesterday down at the stadium, and right now he's going to join us and talk about the wall that tells it all.
We call it the wall that tells it all, and really this picture tells everything you need to know, and not Foles long. Maybe that's what the NFL stands for, because Nick Foles in that sling on IR. He won't be back for a long time for these Jacksonville Jaguars as they lose the opener 40-26. So where do you draw some positives from? Well, how about some top performers on offense after Foles had to leave the game? Gardner Minshew, we've talked about his great performance going 22-25, and DJ Chark, his best game as a pro in his second year as a wide receiver for this Jacksonville Jaguars team. Hopefully that's a good combination, because those two are going to have to be productive moving forward. And maybe the worst part of the day that gets overlooked, the defense getting torched by Kansas City, especially Sammy Watkins. I mean, 9 catches, 198 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Just beating that Jaguars defense left and right. It is the wall that tells it all, and really it tells a sad story from week 1 of the NFL season. Let's go back to you.
There's no doubt about it. Now, Chris, football can be a violent game. I was watching yesterday. It's 3rd and 18. You caught the ball over the middle. And by the way, hallelujah that we can make a 3rd and 18. We've been here a long time. We haven't always done that. You took a shot, man. Tell me about that. And, I mean, that's the physical side of football, Chief.
Yeah, the game of football, it comes at you fast.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I had no idea that safety was coming out of the sky.
Right.
You know, just trusted the quarterback, and we're able to pick that one up. Didn't feel good in the moment, but about 5 minutes later, I was all right.
Okay.
But, you know, the technology in these helmets these days helping me out. But, you know, we as an offense have really been – We've been challenged, you know, going against a defense that's really physical, and it really it makes it better when you come in the game. It's not the first time I've taken a shot like that.
We were happy for you that you're okay. Selfishly, we're happy for us because we're glad you're here tonight on the show. Jags Report Live. You're doing a fantastic job. More coming up with Jags wide receiver Chris Conley. But coming up next.
Oh, boy.
It's motorcycle driving time for us, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
It's time to rev it up from Sunday's game. Chiefs and Jaguars. It's next.
Give me a golf ball.
Come on out to Top Golf, and you can, I guess, hit me. We'll get one of those for you, too, Hicken.
You're watching the Action Sports Jags Report Live. Sponsored by Anajar and Levine, Accident Attorneys.
The newest show in Jacksonville. We're talking Jaguars with wide receiver Chris Conley, and we'll get back to Chris in just a moment, live from Top Golf on Jags Report Live. But first, it's time to rev it up.
It's time for Rev It Up, powered by Adamek Harley-Davidson. Get out and ride.
You're still beasting, I see. Just trying to make it.
The people are great. Fans are unbelievable. I love this atmosphere. I miss it so much.
Now, you know you cannot wear that jersey in here.
Yes, I can.
Come on, man.
We got the trophy.
You got sold to the devil for AB, man.
We sold the devil. He sold the soul to the devil.
Quarterback number 20,
Nothing quite like opening day. It's a lot better when you win, though. Welcome back, everybody. It was hot, though, yesterday, Chris.
It was a warm one. It was a warm one. But surprisingly, that wasn't the hottest day that we've had. In camp, we had days hotter than that.
Yeah.
And so once we got into the second half, we were able to settle in, but we were pumping lots of fluids.
Yeah, you absolutely got to do that, prevent injuries. There were some injuries, and we continue to keep an eye on the offensive line of the Jacksonville Jaguars. This changed about 5 days ago, a couple days before the football game. Cam Robinson hurt his other knee, not the ACL knee, but his other knee in practice. Couldn't play on Sunday. Jags had to go to their third left tackle, Will Richardson Jr. I think he did an admirable job in that spot.
Today said he did a great job, and he has no problem putting it back out there.
We'll get more updates on not only Cam Robinson, the rest of the offensive line, but the rest of the injuries for the Jaguars midweek on Wednesday. Of course, we'll have that for you on Action Sports Jax, your official Jaguars stations, CBS 47 and Fox 30. One quick thought about Nick Foles. I said, would you be here without Nick Foles? How much of that was a phone call from Nick or a phone call from you saying, let's get the band back together?
It was a little bit of both. We had talked, what is it now, 3 years ago, about 2 or 3 years ago, in an off-season out at Nick's house in California about the opportunity of playing with each other again, and that we would do whatever it took in that instance to make it happen. And I saw Nick sign with the Jaguars, and I texted my agent. I said, man, how crazy would it be if I ended up in Jacksonville playing with Nick? About 5 minutes later, I got a call on my phone, and it was Nick saying, hey, man, what do you think about coming to Jacksonville? The rest is history, and I'm here.
Very good deal. Hey, coming up next, we go to Mr. Robinson's neighborhood on a Sunday at the bank. Segment on Monday you'll see all the time on Jags Report Live, plus a few good minutes with Chris Conley, the Jaguars wide receiver. We are live at Top Golf. Come on out and join us each and every Monday night, 7 o'clock on CBS 47.
You're watching the Action Sports Jags Report Live. Sponsored by Anajar and Levine, Accident Attorneys.
Hey, we told everybody to wave when you're on camera, so there they are. They're waving. They listen very well here at Top Golf. Jags Report Live on CBS 47. Jaguars coming off a 40-26 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. But now they try to get back at it next week in Houston. Brent, Martineau, Dan Hicken, Jags wide receiver Chris Conley, our first ever show here at Top Golf, and we're enjoying it. Come on out every single week, 7 o'clock on CBS 47. All right, we call it a few good minutes with Chris.
All right.
You ready?
Ready.
All right. You're a dog, a Georgia Bulldog.
I am.
And by the way, you almost got yourself a little bit of trouble in training camp with those Gators, didn't you?
Not at all, not at all.
He's a Gator, by the way.
All I have to do is talk about our record for the past couple of years, and it all stops. It all stops.
The series really started in 1990, I believe, if you really want to go back. I love you, and I know you had a few wins in your time there. I think you were 3-1. Is that correct?
This is true, but some people like to live in the past.
Yes.
If you look at the here and now, the Dogs are on top.
Yeah, they are, unfortunately, but that's great. We're happy for you. Congratulations on the red and black. I read something about you that I want to ask you. Is this true that you hold the, and I don't know if you still do, the combine record for the vertical jump? Did you know that?
I do. I still hold the vertical jump record at the combine.
Holy cow.
45 inches.
45 inches.
45. That's almost 4 feet.
I thought maybe we could both jump next to Chris. He'll go 45, and we'll go half.
It's like a box jump.
See?
Don't get him hurt. And really, more importantly,
45 inches.
Don't get you hurt then, because
that's true. I'd blow out a knee if I went too
we
high.
need you during the whole football season. You like to surf.
I do.
Well, now you do. You picked it up. How did this all come about? You live out by the beach. Tell us a little bit more about surfing and Chris.
So actually, my wife and I took a vacation to Hawaii. And while we were out in Hawaii, I had the bright idea, let's try surfing. You know, I'd always seen it when I was a kid. And we went out for the first time while we were in Hawaii. And then we found out a couple months later that we'd be relocating here to Jacksonville and that people here in Jacksonville surf. Within our first week of being down here, we were sent to Sunrise Surf Shop, got some boards, and ever since then, we've been surfing probably once or twice a week.
Now, here's another interesting fact to know and tell about Chris Conley. Tell everybody, you know, he's a Georgia Bulldog, so, you know, he's probably from Macon. You know, he probably grew up in Macon or maybe just outside of Athens, maybe Moultrie, Georgia. Where were you born, Chris Conley?
I was actually born in Turkey, so that catches people off guard. I'm a military brat.
Yeah.
In the Air Force, my dad did 20 years, and
thank him.
I was born in Adana, Turkey, over there, and then I just moved around a lot. So I don't really have one place that I'm from. You know, I lived in Warner Robins, Georgia, Turkey, obviously. I was in California. Edwards Air Force Base, Lancaster, off base there, and then we moved to Ackworth, Georgia, out in the sticks, and that's where I did high school.
Well, you're adaptable, that's for sure.
If you hadn't gone to Georgia, where would you have gone? What was your second choice?
My second choice was actually, everybody's going to hate me for this, but my second choice, my number 2 was Alabama.
Okay.
But I ended up going to Georgia, made the right choice.
I wish you had said Florida right there and spurned Dan, at least for the moment. Let's bring in another member of our team on Action Sports Jax. Each and every Monday, Marcel Robinson brings us to Mr. Robinson's neighborhood.
The bank is back open for business, and you know what that means. No, not the much anticipated regular season debut of Nick Foles. No, not the ungodly temperatures underneath this hot sun in Florida. It's the return of Mr. Robinson's neighborhood.
Let's get the obvious observation out the way. It was hot, blistering. On-field temperatures reaching the triple digits and hanging there for the duration of the entire game. Meanwhile, in the flex field, football and football intertwined as the Jacksonville University Dolphins men's soccer team hosted their 3rd annual Jags Clinic.
We got about 110 kids out here that were excited. We have so many returners from year to year. So the fact that soccer and football can coexist in the same place, for us as soccer people, it's exciting that we know that soccer has a place in our community.
Fins having fun teaching fundamentals of football. Doesn't get any better than that, right?
That's got a nice ring to it as well. Yeah, I like that.
You know it, you love it. The weekly You Lost Fam winner. Saquon Barkley was considered, but in the end, my man Sawyer Klein stuck out like a sore thumb outside the bowl.
I got to stay loyal to the Denver Broncos. That's all I got to say.
Hey, maybe it was a ploy to troll the division rival Chiefs fans. Either way, didn't work. Unfortunately, the party only lasted during the pregame, but it was fun while it lasted. Marcel Robinson, Action Sports Jax.
Thanks for the trip to Mr. Robinson's neighborhood. Coming up next, I want to take a trip to this guy's neighborhood. Meeting Gardner Minshew. He's an interesting guy, and he's now the quarterback of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's Jaguars Report Live. We're at Topgolf having a good time. We're talking Minshew with Conley next.
You're watching the Action Sports Jags Report Live. Sponsored by Anajar and Levine, Accident Attorneys.
All right, back to Top Golf here on CBS 47, Jags Report Live. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Monday night. You can do this each and every Monday. Chris Conley, take a swing.
Oh!
Hey, you said you're no good at this game.
He said he was no good.
That's pretty
Smoked
good hit.
That one.
And very kind of you not to hit me out there on the Brent
Need some work.
Thank you. Brent Martineau, Dan Hicken,
work.
Chris Conley, Jaguars wide receiver back. And the big story today, obviously Nick Foles out until at least week 11. We'll see if he can get back off injured reserve. So that means it's Gardner Minshew's team at the quarterback position. This cat's an interesting cat now, isn't he?
Tell him the story you just told me in the break when you guys went out to the movies.
First week here for OTAs, we had a team outing at the movies.
Right.
And so, you know, the rookies kind of stick together and they roll in squads because they don't really know anyone yet. So the squad of rookies shows up at the movies, led by this character with the massive mustache. He walks in with some shortcut Daisy Dukes and a cut-off tie-dye tank top and an American flag bandana. And that was Gardner Minshew walking into the movies, and I'd never seen anything like that before. I was standing there with Calais and Leonard, and we said, who did we just draft?
I think we could top that, though. We've got some pictures of Gardner Minshew that we want to show folks. This is at the top of his Twitter, right?
Yeah.
So that's Gardner. This is what he's posted, he and the Jaguar driving. That's your quarterback. So, you may want to practice that. There's Gardner Minshew. What else do we have of Gardner Minshew? He put this on Instagram. I don't scratch my head unless it itches, and I don't dance unless I hear some music. I will not be intimidated. That's just the way it is. Hashtag let's go to work.
What's he like in the huddle?
Gardner has a lot of confidence. Especially for a guy who hasn't been around some of these guys.
Took that hit.
And, he's got a lot of resilience, too.
Tough.
He took a hit like that. He hopped right back up, got back in the game, and was able to make some plays after that hit. And, that's some of the things that we look at for young guys when they come into these situations because it's hard to do in this league.
Look at this picture from the Senior Bowl. This is from the Senior Bowl.
That's
Mobile,
his job
Alabama,
interview.
when he's going to interview for a job.
Yeah, that's part of the confidence there, He lets his resume speak for itself, and then he lets his personality show. That's one of the things that we love about him. He is himself, and he will not change for anyone else.
Awesome. Well, we'll see what he does. He did a great job yesterday. Next stop, Houston. We'll be in Houston with the Jags on Sunday. Have a good week of preparation. Thanks for coming out here, and you can come and join Chris Conley and all of us on CBS 47 live at Top Golf on Mondays. We'll see you next Monday. And a lot of in between there on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for watching live from Top Golf.
Thanks for watching the Action Sports Jags Report Live. Sponsored by Anachar and Levine, Accident Attorneys.